Hi, this is Kyle from Hat Local SEO, and in this video, I want to show you how you are doing guest posting all wrong. Guest posting is a really popular way of building links. For some people, they think this is the only way to build links, which is just white hat bullshit. And a lot of those people just do it wrong. And I'm going to show you what you're doing wrong and how to avoid these pitfalls. But before we do that, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment. Let me know if you think I'm full of shit, if you think I'm wrong about this, if you think I'm an asshole, or if you just want to leave a topic for a video you want me to, or a video for a topic you want me to cover, do that too. Maybe I'll do it. But let's get back to this. So guest posting is, again, one of the most popular ways of building links. For white hats, it's pretty much the only way they build links, right? In fact, I've talked to a lot of them who said that that is the only Google approved way of link building, when really that just shows how fucking stupid they are, because there is no Google approved way of link building, right? Google does not want you to build links. Any link building is black hat to Google unless it happens naturally, right? So what a lot of these white hats will do is they say, oh, you can only get these doing manual outreach, blah, 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 which does not work. And I can guarantee you those guys are full of shit, because they're not doing manual outreach either unless they're working with big enterprise brands, right? So if they're a huge brand, like if you're Pepsi, or if you're Jim Beam or whatever, you have the brand authority and the just clout in your industry that anybody's going to give you links, right? The second you publish a press release or a blog post, people are going to be linking to it, right? Which is great for them. All the white hats who talk about how they don't really need to do link building all work for enterprise level brands, right? But the ones who say they just do manual outreach are just fucking wasting time and money, right? Because you figure you got to pay a full-time outreach person to actually go out. And I know this because we do this, right? To actually go out and find people in a niche who are accepting guest posts. They have to negotiate the fee, because these links aren't free. One thing white hats don't tell you is they pay for links all the fucking time. Bloggers know that they have a commodity that they can sell, and even if somebody does outreach and they accept a link, they're going to charge for that link, right? So these white hats are telling you that you need to do manual outreach and do skyscraper content, which is another load of shit, are just wasting your time and money. For local SEO, really, the best way to use your budget is just to buy links, right? So you can, like I said, go out and do your own manual outreach. Like, this is what we've done. We've built up a roster of bloggers and stuff that we have relationships with and that we know. Or you can just cut the shit and just buy from a vendor, like for us, for instance, who already have a list of people that we already work with, right? Because either way, you can spend $2,000 a month to get a cheap overseas full-time white hat manual link outreacher, and then still have to pay a couple $100 per link, or you can just pay $500, $400 for a guest post, right? And also with that, you're using a company who already knows what they're doing, and they're going to avoid the mistakes I'm going to be talking about, right? So really, let's get out of the way. Don't do manual outreach. It's a load of shit. Just fucking buy these links, right? For guest posts or for niche edits, same thing. Just fucking buy them. So if you think you're smarter than me and you don't want to do this and you want to do it yourself, I'll give you a few pointers. So one thing that I want to caution people against, and I think a lot of people have caught on to this already and know not to do it, but is buying links based solely on DA or DR or authority, right? DA, DR, for one thing, is a third-party metric. DA is Moz, DR is Ahrefs, and Google does not give a shit about that at all. Two, I can go to Legit tomorrow and in a few days pump my bullshit PBN site up to DA 50 plus for $10. And I'm going to show you right here. If you go to legit.com, you type in increased DA. Holy shit, look at this. For $10, they're going to get me DA 50 plus in a white hat way. Okay, buddy, whatever you say. And it'll take like a week. So buying links only based on DA or DR is at best not going to do a whole heck of a lot for you. The other thing that I see that people do wrong is they don't look and see if a site is actually getting visits, getting traffic and stuff, right? A lot of these sites, especially if you buy off of a list like this is a Google sheet that somebody on Facebook DM'd me. And if I have this, and if somebody on Facebook is just sending these out to fucking everybody, then you better fucking believe Google has this. And all of these sites have probably got their links devalued. So you can pay your $50 and get a link that's not going to do fuck all for you, right? But you can see here over in column E, it says organic traffic, 15,000 visits per month, 5,000, 6,000, which looks great, right? Fuck me. Like, you want websites to get traffic. That's potential eyes on your business, right? Wrong. These sites are not getting that kind of traffic, especially if, like I said, you're buying some bullshit sites off some bullshit list that some bullshit spammer sent you over in Facebook, right? So let's take a look at this one, for example, womensbeautyoffers.com. Cool. DR55. Ah, fuck me. Look at that. DR55. How can I lose? And it's maybe only $50. Awesome. That's what I bet a lot of you are thinking here. Only 3% spam score? Even better. Google doesn't give a shit about spam score. That's some Moz bullshit. Organic traffic, 15,000 per month. Wow, this is an actual site getting actual visits, and it's only going to take me 6 days to do this. Fuck that. None of this is true remotely at all, except for the spam score or DR, right? Google is not going to give a shit about this. You're not going to get any power from this at all. 15,000 per month. So what a lot of these spammers don't tell you is 15,000 per month might have been 1 month back in like 2021 before it got hit with an update. And to prove it to you, look at this, 15,000 per month. We're going to go over to this site, which looks okay at first glance. Like, it's women's beauty offers. If you look at the titles and subjects of these blog posts, they're all about, for the most part, stuff that would appeal to women, right? But if we go to SEMrush, SEMrush is saying that this site gets 0 visits per month. Fucking none. It's because this site is pure spam and got hit with an update. So even though this says this Google sheet that the spammer sent me said it was getting 15,000 visits per month, it currently is getting 0. So like I said, it probably got 15,000 1 month a few years ago, and they just fucking ran with that and put it on here. But just doing a little bit of effort and digging a little bit deeper shows that this is absolutely not getting any traffic. This is just somebody's PBN bullshit. I might pay $5 for this, if I just need some referring domains to a page. But I'm sure as fuck not going to pay $50 for this if that's what they're really charging. So you got to be really careful when you're looking at these guest posts, especially if, like I said, some dickhead on Facebook just sent you this via DM. So make sure when you're looking at these, make sure that the site itself is actually getting traffic, updated traffic. Look on SEMrush, look on Ahrefs. If DR is one of the first things they tell you about it, then it's probably not going to be a great link. Make sure the site has a theme too, because sites that just post fucking anything and don't have a theme are obvious PBNs, right? Google wants to see a site having a specific theme or topic or brand. And this site does do a good job of that. This is like a themed site. So if you didn't know any better, you could look at this and say, oh yeah, great, look, it's all about women's health, blah, 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 blah. It says it's getting 15,000 per month, but doing a little bit of deeper digging shows that this is just a PBN. Let me see, what is this? Fancy dress on rent, no strings culture. So no strings couture looks like this is a guest post for them. This is the other thing too that I see a lot is when people give us articles or whatever for guest posts, they always make it really SEO'd, really obvious like this, right? This is one thing that nobody really talks about when you're doing guest posts is this does not work anymore. Having overly SEO'd guest posts does not work, right? What have I been preaching for, for 2 years now, right? It's all about branding, right? You need to build up a brand. You don't need to build up your SEO. Google is rewarding brands, right? So writing overly SEO anything like this is not going to help you nearly as much as writing branded content on your on these guest posts. and then linking from that branded content to your site for a couple different reasons. One, this is obviously SEO. This is obviously PBN. This may or may not be pushing any sort of power. Two, how does Google know when something is an actual brand? Google doesn't know one plumbing company from another unless it starts seeing that plumbing company's brand name all over the internet, right? And it's not just like, oh, citations and your social media and stuff. Google wants to see this on third-party websites, which is why you want to make sure that your guest posts are branded, because then it looks like other people are talking about you. Even if you paid for this guest post, if you write your guest post about yourself, if it's self-referential, Google sees that, right? And then it looks like other websites are talking specifically about your brand, not about whatever the fuck this is, and then linking out to your brand, right? Write a blog post about your brand. And this is going to make things a little bit harder because not every blogger is going to accept this, especially if that doesn't, jive with their main topic. So it is going to make things harder in the short term, but for long-term SEO gains, it's going to work wonders for you, right? So here's a client. Come on, don't be a fucking dick. Let's see. Okay, let's try this again. That we use this guest posting strategy on, and you can see here how they're growing, right? So what is this? 1,000, blah, 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 blah. Now they're up around 5,000, 6,000 per month. I mean, I can tell you that this is accurate according to their Search Console and everything, right? And one of the reasons that this worked is because we wrote guest posts about their brand. Look at the title of this guest post. Why Hale Speed Shop Flannel is a must-have for every wardrobe, right? So yes, we did link to the client with a branded anchor text plus keyword, but we wrote about them and their flannel and their brand, right? We did add a outbound link to Wikipedia to make it look a little less spammy and a little less obviously like a paid for guest post, but writing about the brand is what got them noticed. Google is seeing their brand name on third-party websites, right? So buying guest posts in and of itself, it's fine, right? But writing obviously SEO'd content and then just shoving a fucking link in there doesn't work anymore. This is what worked in maybe 2022, but in 2025 and beyond, it's all about building a brand. So getting a guest post for the purpose of building up your brand is the way to go. This is what's going to give you the SEO benefits in 2025. So when you're doing this, one, make sure that the guest post fits the criteria that I mentioned here before, right? It's not on a stupid fucking Google sheet like this. You're not buying based on D8 or DR. You're not buying based on spam score. The main topic of the site, there's one main topic. It's not just they just buy guest or publish guest posts for everybody. Make sure that it's getting actual traffic on there, right? And then write branded content. Write about your brand. Don't write about some SEO topic, right? And again, like I said, this is going to limit the pool of bloggers who are going to be amenable to giving you a guest post, but it's going to work better in the long run because you're building out your brand, right? At this point, it's quality over quantity. If you want quantity, check out my other videos where I talk about how using SEO Neo can help get you more referring domains and contextual relevance to your site, which is what you need in local SEO. But once you've gone as far as you can with SEO Neo and getting referring domains, you need to get these guest posts and these niche edits. So make sure that this is branded content talking about your brand, and Google's going to see third-party websites talking about your brand, and that's really what's going to push a lot more power than just writing about some SEO topic, right? The other thing too that a lot of people don't really do, and honestly bloggers kind of hate this, so you got to be careful about how you do it, but they don't build links to their links. A lot of times just having a guest post out there is great. You're going to want to run it through an indexer, so run it through Omega Indexer or Colinkry or something like that. But if you want to push even more power, build links to that. So again, like I said, bloggers hate this, so I don't really recommend doing it. But if you wanted to get more power out of your guest post, then what you need to do is start building links, right? So let's say this is your guest post, right? And then your guest post links over to your money site, right? Well, cool. This is just hanging out here. That's fine. But if you want to push more power, you got to push power to that guest post, right? It's the same concept behind SEO Neo and their campaigns. So how do you do this? Well, option one is to, if you want to do it the safest way and the way that's going to piss off the least number of people, is you just start building guest posts to your guest post, right? And here you can use cheaper guest posts, like you can, ones off of Legit or Fiverr or something. You can use guest posts. You can use niche edits. This is the easiest, or this is the safest way to do it. Not the easiest. This is the safest way to do it, and the way it's going to push more power, right? But if you don't have this kind of time, right? If you, or budget really, because this can get really expensive really fast, right? If you don't have that kind of time or budget, though, let's see, this is your money site. This is your guest post. Then just run SEO Neo to these things, right? Savvy bloggers are going to know what you're doing if you're running something like, DAS, where it's just a bunch of Web 2.0s and SEO Neo's own PBNs and stuff. But if there's one on here it's called Respect My Authority. There we go. So this specific SEO Neo diagram is not going to show, it's not going to look as spammy to bloggers. I'm going to show you what this diagram looks like here. So these are the links that you're going to be getting. Hub pages, let's see, Letterboxd, let's see, Discuss is in here, Unsplash is in here, I think Pixabay is in here too. TED.com, my anime list. So you can see these are actual websites. So these are going to be profile links. So SEO Neo is going to create a profile on here and link it back to the guest post. But if a savvy blogger comes in here and looks, they're probably going to have a lot of these links on their site anyway. So you can get these kind of hidden within their own backlink profile, because again, none of these look really all that spammy. SB Nation, this is a big sports website. Eater.com, I mean, you can kind of guess what Eater.com is about, but these are big actual websites. Indiegogo, Fullerton.edu. So these are, like I said, there's a lot of plausible deniability here. And these are sites that, or these are properties that the blogger might already have. So they'll probably just gloss over this, right? I mean, I think everybody's used, if you have a content-based site, you've probably used Pixabay at some point, right? Giphy.com, same thing. So using the Respect My Authority diagram is what's going to help you get that plausible deniability. And here's kind of what it looks like here. So it's just a whole bunch of what they refer to as authority links, which, as you saw, is, issue, TED, Pixabay, stuff like that. So these links would all be going to that guest post. And this is really what I would recommend doing if you want to push more power to your guest post. Is you can spend the money and do it the white hat way and get guest post to guest post to guest post, but doing it cheaper and quicker is always the way to go. And using SEO Neo and using the Respect My Authority diagram to that guest post really is what's going to give you that extra little oomph to get you more power over to your website right here, over to your money page. Yeah, so that's about it for this video on the big mistakes that you're making when getting guest posts. If you don't want to do this, then just hit us up. Go to ghls.io. We can do your link building for you. We have a free Until You Rank program. Ask us about that too. It means that you don't pay anything until we get you ranked. Again, my name is Kyle Sabra from Hat Local SEO, and I will talk to you guys later.